Good morning, everybody. My name's Michael J. Long, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Today is July 3rd, and tomorrow will be July the 4th for anybody who wants to go out in the fireworks. And I think that Ron Paul will still win the nomination. I think that it's slim, but he's got a slim chance of doing it, but he could still very well win the nomination. But that's up to the delegates. Now you might ask, well, we already voted and we voted for Mitt Romney or so and so. Let me explain. The popular vote in the primary season doesn't mean anything. Because what you're doing is you're telling the delegates who you want. And you have to be registered, you have to vote in whatever party. You could be a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. Whatever party, when you go to the voting booths, for example, they're going to ask you, Republican, Democrat, Independent. Independent, that means whatever, right? And when you vote, you're just voting for input. The delegates of that party go to the national convention for that particular party, and they're the ones that will decide whether to go with the popular vote within the party or whether to override the popular vote within the party. Whether to go or to override it. So typically what will happen at the convention is the delegates who are selected by the different states are given a ballot, and at that point they're given the opportunity to override the popular vote in each state through the state delegations. And this is just within the state delegations. The delegates from each state, they gather, for instance, and they vote to determine whether to override the popular vote or not. To determine the best qualified and the best possible candidate to win the nomination. So it's the delegates that'll nominate, does the actual nomination, and they will nominate whoever it is they want, and they're allowed to vote their conscience. Sorry to say this, but Mitt Romney is not the nominee yet. Now the likelihood is he's gonna win the nomination, but he's not the nominee yet. Now, I was reading this article. I saw this article, and it was on Fox News, and I don't like Fox News or MSNBC or any of them. And they talked about, who's Mitt Romney going to choose? Is he going to choose a moderate? Is he going to choose this guy? Is he going to, what lady or whatever? It's not Mitt Romney's job to choose whatever VP he wants. He still has to be nominated, and the delegates still have to decide whether to nominate him or not at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, because they can still nominate Ron Paul. And so, if Mitt Romney gets elected, that's just nominated at the party convention. That's just one step. But they're the ones that are also going to determine who the VP is going to be. It's not Mitt Romney's job to determine who the VP is going to be. Now, the likelihood is whoever wins the Republican nomination, and it's between Mitt Romney and Ron Paul, and whoever wins it is going to be on the Republican ballot, and it looks like whoever that Republican is going to be is probably going to win against Obama, because this healthcare incident that took place, let me tell you, it's caused up quite a ruckus. But, in my opinion, I think this voting for the lesser two evils thing is it's not going to do this country any good in the long run. I'll tell you that much right there. So let's say Ron Paul loses. Now, you could still vote for him as a write-in, or you can vote Gary Johnson, who's on the ballot in all 50 states as the Libertarian Party nominee, as the candidate. Now, people ask, well, what about the Electro vote? And I used to think that it was about overriding the popular vote in the general election, until I was directed to the fact that, the Electoral College does not is not allowed to override the popular vote in the general election. Their job is to equalize the vote. So that means you have to win a state to gain electoral votes. And I'm talking about that state's popular vote. Because the what do you call it? The electoral college's job, and this is from what I think, it's a complicated setup system because who's to say that they can't override public opinion, right? But supposedly their job is to override isn't necessarily to override, but rather to equalize the popular vote in the general election. And I got to look more into it. But supposedly that's what it's about, equalizing the popular vote. Because without it, you'll have fans going into different regions and then, we want Mitt Romney or we want Barack Obama. So this kind of thing will sort of balance it out. And so you got to gain a total of 210 votes, electoral votes, just to get in. So it's not based on the popular vote, but popular vote does play a role in the electorate. So I'm Michael J. Long, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. And I just wanted to sum up how it kind of works so that you understand. Alright? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.